for the intended purpose only. So what? I don't even own the camera. I have a limited license to use it as they say I can. Like, read this shit. Binding arbitration and no... Oh, fuck this thing. I'm returning this. Yeah, suck my dick, DJI. Suck my balls.
I really like this video. I'm glad someone made a video about this. I think they did a good job. This Rossman, just like a good 5-minute video to like demonstrate the annoyance of some of this newer trends we've been seeing with cameras and software, especially with cameras recently. With DJI was his example. My example was getting a GoPro camera, opening up and discovering that that in order to use the GoPro camera, I either had one, download the app like this man Rossman had to do, or number two, I have to take an SD card, go to the GoPro website, and download the software onto the SD card. I think it is also absurd that you can't just open up the camera, whether it's a DJI or a GoPro, without some kind of restriction. I also felt the same frustration or similar frustration. I bought a GoPro and it's now I have to do all these other steps, and that was very annoying. So recently, I also bought a different camera. This is a Panasonic camcorder. This is I'm a big fan of camcorders. This is the HC VX3 camcorder, and I was just curious because I wanted to get a new camcorder for a long time now. I have a Canon Vixia camcorder that's HD, and so versus my GoPro camera versus what this man had to do with DJI, all I had to do was just plug in the charger right here, and once it let it sit there for like an hour or two, and then once it's ready, all I do was just open it up and ready to go. You know, it's just there you go. So, and that's it. You know, again, I'll just show you real quick. Here's the SD card slot right there. You know, I know there's no card in there right now, but whatever. And it's just, I just love that. I just love this about this camera. These are the kind of cameras I started out with over 10 years ago. Camcorders in general. But I've also worked with mirrorless. I worked with DSLRs. So far, those, as far as I know, have not been. There's no need to do that with the DSLRs or mirrorless cameras as of yet. Thank goodness. Unless it's changed, I don't know. I'm not the biggest expert, but I do like to talk about this stuff. I do like to discuss with people. So if anyone in watching this has any information about that, any links or referrals, you know, feel free to share in the comment section below. This Media Hub channel or idea is meant to also be partly a discussion as well. Just share, you know, share knowledge, share tips, share ideas around. But you know, I was just disappointed with the GoPro thing, and I'll be honest with you, my phone is also older. I still have this older phone, and it was not compatible with the app to begin with, so I couldn't even download the app for that reason. But even if I did have the app, I still would be irritated. Like, I gotta download the GoPro app to use the phone. I mean, to use the to use the camera, or I have to use the SD card. It just really turned me off. I'm just like, I know, I just want to be able to take it out of the box, charge it up like this camera, and have it ready to go. Other cameras I've used, mirrorless cameras, DSLRs, and camcorders, didn't have to download any software to it. Now, you might not know, some people might argue, oh, it's not a big deal, and I kind of agree. I'm not completely against GoPro cameras or action cameras like the Osmo or the Pocket 3, or I'm not against the idea of using drones. Like, I'm just going to assume the drones, it's going to be a similar situation. You got to download the app for the drone as well. However, there's also added extra steps involved, and it does feel unnecessary. It feels like these companies make things more complicated than they need to be, just for the heck of it, really. I mean, like, yes, there might be some benefits to using the apps. I'm not going to deny that, but I feel like it shouldn't have to be a mandatory thing. I feel like it should be an option. It should be optional. It shouldn't have to be a mandatory thing or close, or feels like one. You know, again, I know the GoPro, you could have downloaded to the SD card, but, you know, I was just exhausted at that point in time, and just, I didn't want to do it, you know? And also for what I was getting with it, I'm getting one kind of lens, and it's at least this camera has a zoom lens in it. You know, so it has a zoom lens built into this camera, and you can adjust the settings in here. So it just shows the 24 optic zoom, or you can go to the standard feature, which is 32 with the eye zoom, or you can go even further than that. There's settings in this camera that allow you to do that, which is very cool. And yes, it costs a few extra $100 more than a GoPro or DJI Osmo, which I saved up my money and got it together with the funding and I just bought it, and for under $1,000, it was pretty good. It only came around to $1,000 for me because I bought an extra battery, but I mean, like, it was still worth it. And I've been like uploading videos about it, not about the camera, but uploading like demonstration videos, basically just showing what the camera can do with the 24 optic zoom. But I do sympathize overall with Louis Rossman and just, the whole concept of having to download the app and licensing and just agreeing to all this stuff. And, it is what it is for now. However, it also just feels it feels like we make things more complicated than they need to be. If you want to download the app and if you want to have that feature on your phone, great. But it shouldn't feel like you need, it shouldn't feel necessary, basically. It shouldn't feel necessary. It should just be an option, Like, to only have like a limited amount of times to use the camera before the camera deactivates on you, shuts it down on you after you bought the camera. Yeah, no, it's just ridiculous. So, I'm not completely against using DJI or GoPro or something like that. But, however, it's not going to be a priority for me. I prefer cameras like this, or I just prefer cameras like this, camcorders. I think camcorders are awesome. I think they get a bad rep. I talked to a lot of people. I introduced this camera to a lot of people, and a lot of people just associate this camera with the 1980s or the 1990s or the early 2000s. And this came out last year, people. This came out last year. I think for what you get with it, I think it does pretty awesome in my opinion. I'm not gonna say it's gonna, it's not a super fancy camera, but so what if it is? That's not the point of it. And neither's a DJI camera, neither's the Osmos, neither are the GoPros. So it doesn't really matter overall. What matters more is just is that you're just creating content and you're having fun with it. That's what matters the most. Some people would argue, oh, it's about the content you're making and if it's good content. Well, good is subjective, and also I don't entirely agree with that, because if you're stressed out about it, if you're like just not having fun with it, then no, that does make a difference. Like, you got to have fun with stuff like this, And that's the other issue with the DJI and the GoPro is, I wasn't having fun with that whole situation, the whole setup. I was by myself, and I'm just like, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. I didn't expect this, Maybe if I was used to it, that'd be different, but I'm not used to it. And maybe if I had some people with me that understood it better, that I could maybe use their phone or whatever. But I'm asking a friend to, like, hey, can you download the app for me? It's like, maybe they'd be cool with that, maybe they wouldn't be, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, now you got an extra step involved that wasn't there before. Even if you ask your friend to download the app onto their phone, it's like now you got to go out of your way to ask your friend and say, hey, are you comfortable downloading this app onto your phone? It's just, so. Again, some people might think I'm making a bigger deal out of this than I am. However, I also don't see why we should be restricted like that as creators, as people just having, let's have some fun with this stuff. Let's try to have some fun, And yeah, there's going to be some pains along the way. There always is. So why, it's just, why make it more difficult? But again, if that's just the way it's going to be for right now, that's just the way it's going to be. Again, GoPro and DJI are not my priority. Cameras like this are more my priority to begin with, for now. I'm not opposed to those other cameras completely 100%, but they're definitely going to take a backseat to cameras like this, where I can just charge it up and it's ready to go. And that already have an optic zoom built into it, and not just reliant on one zoom with a digital zoom only. This has digital zoom as a feature, partly. This also has a zoom lens already in it, and digital zoom is an option. You can adjust the settings to have it in there too. So I'd rather just save up money, just buy one of these, at my job right now. And if I were, I suggest that to other people, I suggest you just, check this camera out. People, I show people this camera, and they're amazed that like I could zoom in so far, and the picture still looks, doesn't look blurry, doesn't look pixelated. It's like, yeah, because I have it set to 24 optic zoom and the 24 zoom lens, and it's just that's it. It's just a lens. It's not like completely blurry and stuff like that. So, yeah. But yeah, it's my first time. This is my first time ever trying to do a video with the idea of Bose Media Hub, and I hope you all like the video. Feel free to share your own comments below, and stay tuned for more. Check out my other films and videos that I've worked on this channel as well. So more stuff to come. Thank you for watching, everyone. And again, this is the Panasonic HC VX3 camcorder. Feel free to look it up online, on YouTube, and Google it. And yeah, and take care, folks.